Morning. I'm Richard Crawford-Small, founder of Aesthetic Entrepreneurs. It's great to be here, and today what I want to do is take you through a couple of things. Firstly, to give you a bit of an insight into the Aesthetic Entrepreneurs, what we do, who we are, and also how we can help. But also just give you some ideas in how you can be much more effective with your marketing, with your business strategy, and maybe some different ideas and some different ways to approach it. Because what I've noticed in aesthetics is everybody seems to approach their marketing in the same way. They all talk about the same things. So what I'm going to do is going to show you some examples of how big companies do it, some examples of how smaller companies do it, and you can take all of this information and hopefully use it to drive your own marketing strategies a little bit more effectively. So, we are the Aesthetic Entrepreneurs. Now, maybe you didn't know this, but there are generally 5 types of business in aesthetics, generally 5 types of business anywhere. Even going from a small boutique business, so that's generally a practitioner who's working on their own in the home clinic, for example, through to a lifestyle business, which is, again, sole practitioner, possibly working at 1 or 2 salons, but maybe has their own clinic as well. Performance business, so it's the first step where you've now got staff, you've now got some responsibilities. When I look at performance is because you have now become responsible for the livelihoods of others, through to high performance. So you've got lots of staff, it's a big clinic, it's quite demanding, you've got demanding clients, and then the final part of this is the chain or the corporate, so you've got multiple clinics. Now, when we all start out, I think it's a good idea to have an idea of, one, where we are in this, but also what type of business we want to become. There's no shame in remaining a boutique business. There's no shame in just sitting with you're working from home. There's no shame in having a lifestyle business. But if you really want to ramp up, maybe become a performance or a high performance business, you have to acknowledge that there are going to be challenges in that you need to be aware of. So it's good to take a little bit of time to look at who we want to become. Because what I've noticed is that generally, when you're working in a kind of this lower tier, your clients tend to be a little bit more grateful. They're happier. Up here, they're more demanding, much more demanding. And the other thing to be aware of is that as a boutique client or boutique business, it's very, very difficult to attract clients who would be working with in that kind of top tier. So if you're a boutique business, targeting clients who would normally go to a high performance business is difficult. What you need to do is actually go like for like. So think about, what type of business do you want to become? What type of business are you? Because it's all about the type of client that we can attract. And for me, it's all about tribe. It's all about creating communities. So I'll ask you a question. Why would you want to build a tribe? Number of different reasons why. It makes it easier to communicate with your client base, it builds loyalty, it builds trust, but ultimately, the thing it's really, really good at is selling becomes easy. If you've got a loyal base of people who already know, like, and trust you, it's much easier to launch products, it's much easier to launch treatments, it's much easier to communicate and sell to people who already bought into you, rather than targeting brand new customers. So you need to kind of look at developing a tribe. And because of that, marketing becomes very, very simple. Do you want to know the secret?
Yes.
Yes, you do. Are you ready?
I'm ready. We're up now.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Yeah, anticipation is the secret. Tell really good stories. It is as simple as that. Marketing for me is all about storytelling, and it's about the quality of the stories that you tell. That directly relates to the top quality of clients that you get, which relates to the quality of business that you have. It all starts with your ability to tell really good stories. And unfortunately, a lot of us out there tell really shit stories. Now, the reason we want to tell these stories is because we want to pull people through what's called a sales funnel. So here is an example of a sales funnel. And the thing I just want you to kind of look at is it's where we know, like, and trust. Know, like, trust. If you just try and communicate and sell to people that you know, you're looking at lower value sales. So for example, if I'm going to buy something off of Facebook ads, which I generally do quite often because I'm really easy to sell to, but something will pop up, it's 20 quid, I'll click on it, I'll buy it, it will arrive. It's generally shit and breaks immediately. But it's not a lot of money. I didn't want to build a relationship with the particular person who's selling it. If I'm spending something that's £500, £600, £700, I'm going to do an awful lot more research, a lot more digging. So I'm going to want to know who they are. Do I like this person? And can I trust them? And your job is to tell the stories to get your clients to tell you the information that enables them to make a decision. So your things like, what do they want to know? Key, what problems do your clients have? What problems are you solving? What are your clients' goals? What are their fears? Where are they strong? Where are they weak? What do they know? What do they believe? What do they believe to be true? What don't they believe to be true? What's their perception of you in the marketplace? What's the perception of what you're selling? What are they talking about? And where are they talking about it? For marketing content, if you don't know what they're talking about, we don't know where they're talking about it, how are you going to put relevant messages to them? Because only when you've kind of really drilled in and helped them understand all of that, will they actually do something, take action. Where it goes wrong is when you start a conversation and you immediately ask someone to buy something and there's a complete disconnect. That's what feels salesy. There's no relationship being built. And how do we build a relationship? Tell really good stories. So what we do at Aesthetic Entrepreneurs is we take you on that journey. There are 6 stories that we want you to tell. First story is about your goal. So what is it that you want to achieve? Why do you want to achieve it? It's important because if your goal's not particularly strong, you're not going to stay the course. When things get difficult, you're going to quit. And we talk about goal setting as a burning desire followed by immediate massive action, repeated consistently for as long as it takes. It's a little DART model: desire, action, repetition, and time. So burning desire, does this inspire you? Do you really want to be doing this? When you wake up in the morning, is it the first thing you think about? When you go to bed, is it the last thing you think about? Does it really drive you? Action, because then the next step is immediate, massive action. And that's pouring a lot of time, a lot of energy, in some cases a lot of money into something to get it moving. And then you repeat consistently, over time, day in, day out, for as long as it takes. Business there's no magic wand. But having a goal that's quite strong will help you stay the course. And this is something that you can communicate to your clients. There's no issues around talking about what you want to achieve. Next step is a plan. So the methodology we use is called ORBIT. So it's objective, resource, buy-in, implementation, and test. So what is it you want to achieve? What are the resources that you have available to help you to achieve it? Buy-in. Who else is involved in that decision-making process? How are you going to implement it? And how do you know you've been successful? So interrogate the objective. Understand the plan gives you your objective. And then after all of that kind of stuff, it gets a bit sexy. Culture. And this is down to your vision and values. And again, it's a step that gets missed massively, because if you don't have your vision and values, how are you going to communicate what your philosophy is, what you mean, what your identity is to your target client? So Aesthetic Entrepreneurs, our vision is that we build successful aesthetic businesses by inspiring the people behind them. We inspire people. We want to work with the people. Our values are progression, power, and principles. So progression, we look forward. We try and find the cutting edge techniques, tools, theories to help you grow your business. Empower you to make the decisions and give you the tools to be able to grow your business. And then principles. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. So that's us. What are yours? Because then once you've defined your culture, then you attract people. Your culture determines who you attract, and that's for your community. Your tribe starts to form. Your tribe build because of your values and your vision, not because of the products and the treatments. Is it a part of that? But people buy from people. So what your culture is attracts the community, and then the community provide us with an opportunity to solve problems for people. If you remove sales and put the word opportunity, it's a much nicer way of approaching it. I don't sell to people, I just take advantage of the opportunity they presented me to solve their problem. Because if I solve their problem effectively, what happens? Generate revenue. They pay you. And all of that is growth. All of this. And this is a process. And you get to the end and you go back to the beginning, and it's a constant process of evolution. And as you do that, you could do that as a boutique business, you do it as a lifestyle business, you can do it as a performance business. Every single stage of your business growth, you need to have these things in place. And the majority of businesses I deal with don't. So, a person buys with emotion and justifies with logic. Anybody disagree? We're all emotional when it comes to purchases at a certain value, and then we justify it with logic. So my most recent purchase is a really nice motorcycle jacket. Lovely. It's wax jacket. I've got 5 motorcycle jackets. Why do I need another one? Because it's wax and it's nice, and I justified it because it will keep me warm when I'm riding through winter, and I don't often ride through winter, so it's just a logical purchase. But we all do the same sort of thing. We all buy in the same way. And if people buy in the same way, buy through emotion, justify through logic, then surely we should be selling to the emotion rather than to the logic. I know the value matrix is, everything has basically 5 stages through it. So at the lowest point of an object is a commodity. Commodity, goods, services, experiences and transformations. So at the core, raw material of something is a commodity. So if we use the example of medical aesthetics, the raw material in Botox, for example, is Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria. So we take that, we purify it, we extract serotype A, we take a certain molecular weight, purify it some more, put it through a manufacturing process, put it in a vial, stick a label on it. What have we got? Botox, absolutely, we've got the product. And then that product is given to you to provide the service of administering that to your client. And that is where the majority of people stop. They stop in the service provision bit, because the next step is experiences. People are coming for an event, and then transformations. They're coming to see you. Now the problem is, to get into experiences and transformations, it takes time, a lot of energy and a lot of money. You have to invest. You grow and gradually do it. It takes time, but it's easier to sit as a service provider because you don't need to do anything. But when you hear people, so I hear people saying to me, oh, there's so much competition, the market's really overheated. What they're saying is effectively is that they are just sat in service provider. When you talk to the businesses that are in experiences or transformations, they don't tell me that the market's overheated or that there's lots of competition. They just get on with do what they're doing. So the question then is, well, how do we get there? And the simple thing is stories. If you tell average stories, if you tell stories about goods and services, then you will sit in goods and services. If you tell stories about experiences and transformations, then you achieve market leadership. An example of a story of goods and treatments is, Botox 3 areas. That's a goods and services. An example of a transformation or experience story is taking one of your clients and telling their story about what their problem was, how they felt, what you did, and how they feel now. That's an experience and transformation story. It's easy and quick to do goods and services. To do the experience and transformation stories takes a bit of time and a bit of thought, emotional investment and personal you have to really want and engage with it all. So it does drain you a little bit, but that's why. So if we want to jump from services to experiences, we have to tell better stories. All good? Clear? Cool. So, give you a couple of companies, some examples. So Rolex, Apple, Coca-Cola, Porsche, and Suzuki. Very different companies. They're all connected by one thing. And that one thing is that I think they're actually all world-class at telling experience and transformational stories. None of them really talk about what they make. I'm going to give you some examples. The way you can see that is all through their advertising. So if you look at Rolex, so Rolex are famous for selling watches that you can't actually buy. I think that one's probably been out of sales for years. But if you look at it, a Rolex will never change the world. We leave that to the people who wear them. And if you look at the ad, little watch poking out from a double cuffed shirt with a cufflink, microphones, a tie. You know, what's this selling? Success, power, aspiration. Who's it selling it to? People that want to be successful. I think this ad is aimed pretty much bang on at the sales rep. It's aimed at late 20s, early 30s, wanting to climb the corporate ladder, and generally will drop half of their bonus on a watch. I know, because I did this. I didn't buy a Rolex, I bought a tag, but I was late 20s, got a bonus, bought a really nice watch, thinking, yeah, you know, that poking out of the cuff, it shows that you are a successful, you know, bloke. It doesn't mean shit, to be honest with you, but ultimately, that's what Rolex, the story that Rolex want to tell you. What's it telling you about the watch? Nothing. It's all emotion. Apple. So I'm an Apple fanboy. Try not to become a man of success, but rather to become a man of value, says Albert Einstein on behalf of Apple. So, you know, again, I couldn't tell you much about that Mac. I know what the hard drive size is, but I don't know what the processor speed is. I don't know how much RAM it's got in it. I couldn't tell you what the graphics card is. I know very little about it. Does it matter? I still cover it in stickers. I love it to death. It's 7 years old. It's coming to the end of its life. I will miss it. Why have I become emotionally attached to a computer? Because it's been on its journey with me. The story is that it's creative, it's inspirational. You know, that thing has helped me as an entrepreneur. That's the story that's being told. Santa Claus, Coca-Cola. So Coke I have mixed feelings with, because they are like the second largest polluter in the world, and they do sell childhood obesity in a bucket. But you can't criticize their marketing. You know, they branded Santa Claus. Yeah, that's why they sell much of that stuff. You can't, yeah, they branded Santa Claus. The story is that I think it's in the late 30s that Coca-Cola branded Santa Claus as red. They didn't brand him as red, but what they did is they basically crystallized the modern identity of Santa Claus. You know, jolly, drinking a Coca-Cola, red-faced. And you think about it now, it's, you know, the holidays are coming, you know, but we know what Coca-Cola is. But they're tales of people, you know, finding their way out of the Amazon by following a trail of Coca-Cola bottle caps left by the loggers, and then lying down next to the vending machine until they got filled. Coke rescues people from the Amazon. But it's an incredibly strong brand. Porsche. So this ad, honestly now, did you spend your youth dreaming about someday owning a Nissan or a Mitsubishi? No, I didn't. I would be the one pressed up against the Porsche garage looking at a 911 going, oh, I did have a Porsche once, I had a Boxster. Family got bigger, got rid of that. And now what do I have? Mitsubishi Shogun, yeah. So this ad it's communicating to the kid who was sat face up against the window going, look at that 911, it's amazing, look at the 928. Telling me, you know, I haven't fulfilled my dreams. Challenging me, it's an emotional pull. And Porsche are really, really good at it. Because they know that the majority, and a lot of these car companies know that the bond between their brand is generally made when you're a kid. So speak to the child. Is another example of that. So the Suzuki Hayabusa in up-road motorcycles pretty much since I could. 2000, the Hayabusa came out, the fastest production motorcycle in history. It almost did 200 out of the crate. Ridiculous bike. I had to have one. Could I afford the insurance? No way. It took 20 years before I could afford the insurance on it. And there it is, earlier this year, I got the Hayabusa. I don't wear those on it, I'm sure, just let you know. But the brand connection between me and that bike was so strong that 20 years later, when I could finally thought, right, now the time has come for me to get another bike, that was one I got, and I finally fulfilled the dream. I wasn't even that upset when it broke down the day I got it. But Suzuki, for me, are geniuses at that point of communicating emotionally. Again, understanding their target market, blokes, understanding that the connection between them and motorcycles is generally made when you're young. It's your dad's mate bringing his bike round, and you're like, wow. So, look at this ad. I'll share this ad with you, because I think it's one of the most effective ads I've ever seen for doing that. Hats off to Suzuki for that one. What bike was it? Who cares? No one cares. Just, again, the emotion. Incredibly powerful advert. So what's the story? So we know now that, the best companies in there communicate emotion rather than logic. So now we know that's the case. What's the reason for it? And it's to build a tribe. It's to build a loyal following of people who all think the same kind of way, have the same belief systems, have the same moral code, have all the same kind of attributes, that you build a little group of them. And how do you do it? There's 4 steps to doing it, which is know your target market, stand for something, have a thing. You post content that resonates with your target market, and then you create a tribe around the thing, not you. It all sounds very, very simple. And it's not that complicated. It just requires a consistency and a discipline to do. So how do we do that? So I'll walk you through another little case study. So know your target market. If I was to kind of say questions like what's the number one thing that people aren't doing, it's that. It's doing work on understanding who you serve. Because that's the other way of looking at it, is who do you serve? Who is your client? Who's going to buy from you? You market to someone. You try and all things to all people, we become nothing to no one. So we have to be quite niche and focused on who it is we're marketing to. I'll give you an example of this. So half my family live in the US. So I'm kind of slightly tuned into the US sports market. So I will explain, if none of you not US sports fans, but I'm sure you know who this guy is. Yeah. Might have seen him once or twice, yeah. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So in 2016, upstart sports brand Under Armour signs a deal with Dwayne Johnson to create, let's say, a global partnership. So Project Rock was born, where Dwayne Johnson designed stuff, used his own brand to support Under Armour. And at the time, Nike, Adidas, all a little bit flat, and it was all a bit boring. When you got The Rock on your side, all of a sudden the game is on. So Nike took a step back, and they had a kind of a strategic kind of analysis a few years beforehand, and they wanted to go after 3 types of customers: women, young athletes, and runners. So I don't know if you know, but there's a really good book called Shoe Dog, actually, if you want to learn about how Nike was effectively created, but generally the runner market was the first kind of avatar that they had. So women, young athletes, and runners. That's who they went for. So they knew their target market, and then stand for something. And they got a little, say, lucky, but they also had to be pretty brave. So do you know who this guy is?
Yeah, I know this whole story very well.
Yeah? Yeah. So this is Colin Kaepernick. He was the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. So NFL is the second largest sport in the US after baseball. The San Francisco 49ers are a marquee team, one of the top teams in the NFL. And he was a quarterback, so it's like the key position. And not only just a quarterback, I think this season before he'd been in the Super Bowl. So he's a Super Bowl quarterback. This is a guy at the top of his game. And he took a stand by kneeling, as it says. He took a stand against the treatment of African Americans by the US police force, by various police forces. And regardless of the politics, he did this in pre-season 2016. And this basically got him fired from the 49ers, but also allegedly blackballed by the NFL. So the owners colluded to basically prevent him from getting a job anywhere else. So since 2016, he's never played a game again. And Nike took him and put him as the face of their 30th anniversary campaign for Just Do It. So believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. And that billboard is on top of the Nike store in San Francisco. So in the heart of 49ers country, they put the billboard the size of a house on top of it. Provocative? Pretty much. And what do you think the reaction was? Well, conservative America went a bit batshit if I'm honest. So they started to cut the swoosh out of their trainers, massive kind of pushback on Nike gear, setting fire to it. Now, what do you notice about this guy?
He's wearing them, so he's not very bright.
He's wearing them, yeah. It's funny when you do that. Some people notice the fact he's not a woman, an athlete, or a young athlete or a runner. No, definitely not. But he's also burning the shoes on his feet. Yeah. So he's definitely not Nike's target market. But there were other instances as well. Rochester man accidentally burns down home after lighting Nike shoes on fire in protest of Nike's Colin Kaepernick ad.
This is all great marketing for them, though.
Absolutely. This is all content. So they kind of got lucky in a sense. It's like suddenly the reaction started to market their own decision for them. So then all they had to do was then post content that resonated with their, they could obviously see who they were pissing off. So all they had to do was post content to target the guys who were responding to it. So they did a spoof campaign. Nike out with shoes designed to look like they've been burnt. They really stoked it up. And the result of that was they got a slightly unexpected benefit is Nike became more relevant. They became cool. Again, they went from, in my sort of mind, when we were kids growing up, you had Nike Air Max. But then, like, when your dad starts wearing Nike Air Max, you don't want to wear Nike Air Max anymore. But, they changed. They added another kind of dynamic to their business, dramatically increasing prices, winning over new customers. And if you look at it from a share price point of view, so that's when the ad went out, bit of a spike, and then a decline. But it bounced. And the difference is, in fact, what I look at this, is Nike have turned over their client base. So the people who are buying at this point aren't the guys who are buying here. They just had to go through shedding all that customers, shedding those the people who are not their target market to grow again. And this is a similar process in any size business. And I've been working with clinics, and it's like, right, well, we want to turn your business over. You're going to take a hit because you've got to get rid of them before you become relevant and start to resonate with your new clients. And it can take 3 months. In some instances, I mean, this is a year and a half, I think, but it's amplified. So just do it. And then you create the tribe then around the thing, not you. And here's some other examples. So Apple, what's their thing? An effective product suite. So you know how effective the product suite is when they've got you locked in, is when I have the Apple Watch, I have a phone, I have 2 iPads and a Mac. And when someone calls you on FaceTime and they all go off, it's kind of like, which one do I answer it on? When did my Mac become a phone? So they've got this effective product suite. And who is the emotive, personal brand behind Apple? Steve Jobs. Still, all these years after his death, you still think of Apple and Steve Jobs in the same space. And this is important because a lot of practitioners, a lot of businesses hide behind the brand. And when you join Aesthetic Entrepreneurs, we vet you. So you ask to join, and then we'll go onto your Facebook page, and generally there's a Facebook picture of a dog. And then there's no link to your business, so then we Google you, and we find the website, and then we go through the whole thing, and then page 5 in a tiny little corner is a picture of the actual practitioner. But it's your business. You have to be the one standing loud, proud, and talking about it, because if you're not going to champion your business, then who is? You can't afford to hide anymore. You can't afford to be the person 3 or 4 layers back. You can have the brand, but you still have to be thinking from a human point of view. You very rarely see the Aesthetic Entrepreneurs brand and my face separate. We are together. Yes, it's a brand, but it's being driven by me. Another example, Virgin. So what's their thing? Well, you say this in a room full of nurses and they'll tell you that it's a systematic destruction of the NHS. But their thing, again, effective product suite. Loads of stuff. Virgin, how Virgin work is essentially they are an investment company now. They will invest in 50% of a company, put their brand on it. If it works, happy days. If it doesn't, they'll can it. If we remember Virgin Cosmetics, they basically bought a cosmetics company, stuck the Virgin logo on it, ran for it. Virgin V, didn't work. But if you look at this, Got Virgin Digital, Virgin Nigeria Cargo, didn't know that existed. You know, Virgin Galactic, Virgin Blue, Virgin Wines, Limo, they're all different companies, very different sectors from all the Virgin brand. Why? Because who's the emotive personal brand behind Virgin? Richard Branson, the entrepreneur's champion. Virgin has become an entrepreneurial incubator, in a sense. And if it wasn't for his brand as an entrepreneur, would it have worked? Probably not. So you can see that, you know, the person drives the brand and vice versa. Virgin and Richard Branson are connected at such a level that what he does affects the brand. So we can talk about the content we put out, but something happened a couple of years ago which has actually really kind of helped. You know what this one is? Cambridge Analytica. Yeah. So in the short story is that Facebook got caught selling our data without asking us. Naughty Facebook. If you're really interested in looking at what happened, there's a great Netflix documentary called The Great Hack. I'd watch it because once you get over the initial fear, shock of what's going on, effectively what's happening is we leave a data footprint a mile wide. Data privacy is a myth. It's gone. Sorry, that ship has sailed. Everyone has access to your data. Look at they call it the FANGs: Facebook, Apple, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google are the dominant digital players. And we've given them our data, our preferences, what we watch, what we listen to, what we like, what we don't like. So they have this data and they use it to basically profile and sell to us. They did it so effectively that there is, a lot of evidence to suggest that the manipulation or data profiling contributed to Trump's election and Brexit. So if that's what they can do, that side of things, we can also actually use this same process to drive and develop our own businesses. Because they got burnt, everything became about meaningful content. And I'm just going to use the example of Facebook, but Instagram is similar. LinkedIn, I don't do an awful lot on, but I think from the aesthetic sector, definitely Facebook and Instagram are the dominant two. But it's about creating meaningful content. And what the definition of meaningful content is, it has to resonate with your tribe, with their thing. So the more you know about your target market, the easier it is to create content that communicates to them. So that's how you do it. Know your target market, stand for something, have a thing, post content that resonates, and then create a tribe around that thing, not you. So then, what is your thing? What do you stand for? Going back to your vision and values, we'll pull that out. Your vision and values will dictate this, and then you can use the content to communicate to actually grow your tribe. Because it's all about the tribe. So I'll tell you a little bit about ours. So we have the aesthetic entrepreneurs, and I'll tell you how we built this. So over 1,000 members in aesthetic entrepreneurs, and it's grown pretty much organically. Not through my own relationships, but ultimately, we post content that resonates. We draw people into aesthetic entrepreneurs, which is free. Add content, add value, help them. And then from there, they can choose to come of different kind of routes. We have GSD days. As easy as it is to get involved in the digital side of things, meet people. There's no substitute for physically meeting people. Have open days. Have lots of open days. Open the doors to the business, get as many people in to see what you do. Even if you open the door and 2 people turn up, great. It's not a waste of time. 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 6, etc., etc., etc. You have to let it grow. We've got the Entrepreneurs Club. So we have a paid group where we add more value. What we do in this group is set goals, and then I basically bully people to make sure that they achieve them. Because implementation and consistency is key. And the thing that we do is we are consistently inconsistent, and we need to have a coach or someone who basically helps you to maintain the momentum. I have a coach, and I act as a coach for quite a few different people. We've got Launchpad, which is our newest but fastest growing little tribe, where basically what we do is we understood that those entrants into the market or emerging businesses sometimes get a little bit stuck. There's a lot of overwhelm. Not much of a plan, and not much of an understanding on how social media or marketing works. So what we do with Launchpad is we basically take them, put them on a 4-week course, mostly delivered online with some coaching support from me, to create a plan. Plan kills overwhelm. If you're really overwhelmed and stressed, it's probably because you don't have an idea of what you're going to do. Create a plan, calm everything down. And then look at who your target client is, what it is that you're providing for them, and then how you're communicating that to your market. And it's from that, then you grow your tribe. So things that you can put out, daily themes: Magic Monday, Tantrum Tuesday, Winning Wednesday, Thursday Live, Fun Friday. These are really, really common. I think those of you who are members of a Facebook group will probably see these happening quite frequently because they drive engagement. I was taught how to do it. We did it in our Set It Entrepreneurs. I teach people to do the same thing. Is Magic Monday. It's all about sharing the opportunities and sharing the opportunities of the week, getting people a little bit more fired up. But what you get is insight into their goals. Tantrum Tuesday. It's our most popular day of the week. Everyone loves a moan. Everyone loves a moan. But out of the general kind of moans and noises about transport systems, kids, etc., you get to understand actually the challenges that people are having, not just in business, but in life. And if our job is to help people solve problems, then getting some insight into those problems is key. Winning Wednesday. What's working? What's not working? So by sharing your wins, we can understand how it's all working. Thursday Live. I do a Facebook Live generally every Thursday, and I shall talk about that in a minute. And Friday is just a fun day, something that you use just to kind of have some, not to remove some of the stuffiness from it, but just we do Give Us a Clue, which is describe your mood in GIF form. It's quite funny. Seasonal themes, exact same as your normal kind of marketing campaign. You should have a normal campaign. Christmas, bank holidays, Easter, birthdays, all these different things creating that kind of swell of content seasonally. And then monthly themes. So things like this, coming to meetings, what you're doing, what you're watching, the exhibitions, awards, industry events, all these things build trust, show what you're doing and how you're contributing to your ongoing learning. Showcase your team members. Of course, you can talk about your offers and promotions and treatments, but not all the time. And specialist days. So there's a lot of days that are relevant to aesthetics. So sort of mental health and days like that. And there are days that aren't relevant, like International Talk Like a Pirate Day, which is the 20th of September. It's actually my favourite day. And also, product launches, new services, all those sorts of things. Now, I often get asked, Richard, what is the most effective way I can promote my business online? And I will say a combination of a Facebook group and Facebook Live. And then generally get asked, what's the next most effective way of doing it? Facebook Live is an astonishing marketing platform. It's a gift in a sense, where it's the epitome of meaningful content, where you communicating to your group live is putting you right into their world. And a lot of people are afraid of it. And I can understand why, but it's like all things. Until you do it, and the more you do it, the better you become. Here's my first Facebook Live, did from a hot tub. Looks quite creepy, bit seedy, definitely won't be doing that again. But it was, very few views, few comments, but I learned, and I've done close to 200 of them now. Now we're getting slicker. If I'm doing workshops, I have graphics. The views are going up, the engagement increases. You start to learn about branding and putting little tips behind yourself. Constantly evolution, constantly going. Because Facebook Live is being driven by Facebook. They want it to be successful. So don't just do a Facebook Live and put it out there. Signal it. You can say, okay, I'm going to do a date or do a data 8 or whatever it is you want to do ahead of time, and then turn up and deliver content. Have fun with this stuff. There's so much staid, boring marketing that's completely impersonal. I have a laugh with all of this. Take the piss out of me, whatever. But it's engaging, and it helps me to weed out those who aren't going to be my target client from those who are. And you do it off your phone, you do it off a laptop, but ultimately you just have fun with it. And your tribe grows. Here's a photo a client sent me of her papping me while I was doing a Facebook Live. because you have to realise that you do look a bit like a dick whenever you're doing them. But that's the way. And don't try and be overly professional. It's a combination of pre-recorded professional content, but lives are supposed to be raw. This was how, when Aesthetic Entrepreneurs was a boutique business, that's how I ran it for 6 months. On my dining table, 2 banners behind me and a couple of books propped up. And we managed to go from 0 to a 6-figure company in 8 months just by doing Facebook groups and Facebook Lives off my dining table with a couple of books. So there we go. And once you get better at it, you start to hit your avatar. You start getting messages like that. It's like you're describing me to a T, because you know who you're talking to, you know their challenges, and you know how to solve them. And over time, you build up a base of content on Facebook. Content brings credibility, trust, and eventually revenue. So, final thoughts. Be patient. This isn't quick. Offers are quick. This is building a business based on relevant content that will last for a while. It takes time. Consistency and discipline is the key. You have to turn up day in, day out, every day, a bit of content that's relevant to your client. Facebook Lives are a really good way of doing this. And the final thought is, there's nothing that I've shown you so far that costs any money. It's all free. And because it's free, anyone can do this. But because it's a bit scary, requires a lot of time, a lot of energy and investment, not everybody will, which leaves the market open for you guys to step right into it if that's what you want to do. Cool. Thank you very much, guys. Great for your attention. I hope it's been useful.